AITA for only letting my favorite son live with me. English is not my first language. Recently I bought a duplex house in the best part of the city. I have two sons and they both asked if three can live in one of the floors. I decided to let my older son live with me for 3 reasons. My older son is a great help to us. He usually comes over to check if we need anything and cooks for us, so having him near us would be beneficial. His daughter is probably the sweetest kid on earth and is my only granddaughter. She usually visits to talk to us and I'd like having her close. His wife is very nice and polite and overall I enjoy her company. However, my other son is not as thoughtful as my oldest. His sons prefer their phones to us and I simply dislike his wife. He thinks I'm an asshole for only letting my favorite son live with me. AITA for getting a matching tattoo to my son? I am not a fan of tattoos. Only because they are so ubiquitous now. When I was a kid, tattoos were rare and rebellious. Nowadays they are everywhere and that's fine. People can decorate themselves however they want. But, for example, my grandfather had tattoos. His were from when he was in the military and were a memorial to his friends. My son, 19, has wanted a tattoo since he was little, so I told him that was okay, but to really consider whatever he got and have it be at least a little meaningful and not just do it to be cool. I told him if he got something and it had no special meaning I would get the exact same one. I guess he thought it was an empty threat because he got a tribal armband tattoo. I asked him about it and he said it just looked cool. Okay, well I have disposable income and a high pain tolerance. Now we have matching tattoos and he no longer wants to show his off. He says I'm an asshole for getting a tattoo just to prove a point. I think it's silly to get a meaningless tattoo to look cool. AITA because I don't want to share my art commission money. My husband works full-time and I am a stay-at-home mom. Sometimes I work twice a week during the school year at a daycare. The income all goes to our joint account and we both get an allowance each paycheck. On the side in my free time I occasionally do commissioned artwork. And when I say occasionally I get maybe 4 a year. I wouldn't consider it income because it isn't consistent in the slightest. My husband says we should split it because he doesn't have a hobby that gives him extra income. I said I use it for art supplies so I can continue to do my hobby. He wants either 50-50 or 80% goes to my art fund and we split the rest 50-50. I don't want to share my commission money. I only make between $20 to $50 each commission and I don't get them very often. Maybe 2 to 5 a year. Husband says it's no fair I get extra money to spend and he doesn't. Am I the asshole? Edit, we each get $50 a month as our allowance. My husband makes $2,800 a month and I make $400 a month during the school year. We do have a tight budget. This is our shared income. AITA for expecting my mill to make enough food for everyone. My husband was having a pretty serious surgery and in order for me to be able to be at the hospital, my mill came into town to help with our toddler son. My husband was in the hospital for about a week, so I slept at home, worked and then would visit him in the late afternoon/evenings. One morning, I'm in my son's room playing with him and my mill makes breakfast. She brings the food upstairs, takes my son in the guest room with her, closes the door and they eat. I go downstairs shortly afterwards thinking there is some bacon and eggs left over. I get down there and, nothing. She didn't even make an extra slice of bacon for me. Mind you, it's my house, my groceries, yada yada yada. I'm the only one working to keep us afloat due to his injury, so it's already a lot on my shoulders, which is possibly why this felt like a bigger deal than it actually was, but the part that pissed me off was that she cooked and didn't make enough for me or ask me if I wanted any. I find that extremely rude. I was raised that if you cook, you make enough for everyone unless they say otherwise. That night I go to the hospital and I tell my husband. I told him that I would address it, but wanted to give him a heads up. He tells her anyway and the next morning she does the same thing. Only this time she's left me one piece of bacon on the stove. Nothing else. I felt she was trying to be funny, but I was raised to respect my elders so I didn't snap. But I'm thinking like, damn, this is my house. Am I not worth the hey, I'm making breakfast, you want something? So I told her that in this house, if we cook, we make enough for everyone. She told my husband I was being disrespectful and that she came to do us a favor so I should be grateful. I mean, thanks for helping me with my son, but that doesn't give you an excuse to treat me like I'm not here in my own house. AITA? AITA for laughing at my mom giving the church $5,000 after a car accident? My mom recently had a car accident and was fortunate enough to survive with no injuries. She genuinely said that she must have done something wrong to anger God. She has been praying all night. Additionally, she's been complaining about money issues, mentioning the need to buy a new furnace, water heater, and car. During dinner today, she proudly mentioned donating $5,000 to the church recently, praying for the safety of our family. I couldn't help but burst out laughing and bring up her financial difficulties, questioning the wisdom of giving away such a large sum. She was not happy about that and my dad went on a 30-minute rant/lecture on me.